Welcome to the Sine US Jam Series, number 4. In case you're wondering what in the world that means and haven't seen any of the others, I had sinus surgery a few weeks ago, and it meant that I couldn't really do much with creating and producing videos and putting them out. So I decided that I would try and catch up by sitting down with my MC-707 in the living room, and I created, I think, 7 different of these songs. Very simple, just one drum track and one instrument track. But the other part of it was, being the sinus series, I decided to only use sine waves on the MC-707. And of course, sine waves aren't the most interesting thing in the world, so I did add a lot of effects. The nice thing about the 707 is it has a lot of effects, so you can do a lot with it. Anyways, that's the series that I've created. This is number 4, and I have a very simple process. If you look at the screen here that's up, you'll see that I have 5 tracks, and these tracks are, first of all, drums, and then there's 2 tracks for the MC-707 instrument tracks. There's a pad track and a lead track, though this one, I'm not sure the pad will be actually a pad. But what I do is I lay down the drums, and then I lay down the other tracks over top of that. So what we're going to do is, it's going to be a really simple start. I'm going to lay down the drums. I'm going to put them in for about 2 minutes, even though these songs end up being about a minute long. I won't bore you with the whole thing. I'll just get it started, and then we'll cut and jump ahead to the end of the drum track. So here we go. And of course, it would really help if I had set things back to the beginning, and here we go again. Not an exciting drum track, so I'm going to stop right now, and then I'll come back in a moment. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes worth of drum tracks here up, and we'll just give it a listen, make sure we got it. Okay. So we have 2 minutes of drum tracks laid down. Now we're going to move on to the next track, which is going to be an audio track and a MIDI track, and it's going to be of the keyboard side. And what I have to do to record it is I have to turn down the slider on the drum track, or we're going to end up recording the drum track along with the lead. This is a pretty aggressive lead. I'm going to try an experiment here. We'll see if it works or not. I mean, I'm literally recording this all for the first time, so it may or may not work out, but here we go. So we're going to record. Okay, that was interesting. Not sure how great the timing was on it. Let's just give a listen to it for a second. Okay, so it's a little offbeat, but the beauty of what we're going to do here now is I'm going to set this up so that the MIDI reads off of the MC-707. So when I hit record for the audio track, the MIDI is going to come from the computer and play the MC-707. So what I can do is go in here into the MIDI track and fix it. And you don't want to watch me quantize and fix this. So again, we're going to skip ahead, but you can see I have on the screen here all of this. Let's just take this down. Oh, that's a little bit aggressive. There we are. Okay. And what we can do is, I'm not sure, there may be some 16th notes in there. So let's quantize it to 16ths and apply. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it and fix it as I go. So I'll be back to you in a second, and probably quite a while, depending on how messy this is. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm back and I've got it all fixed up. It actually didn't take that long. There wasn't that much that was messed up on it, just a few spots here and there. The quantizing didn't catch that the first one was off a little bit, so I had to move it manually, and a few others adjusting. But here we go. So what we've got here now, okay, is I've got this set to record the audio again. I have the MIDI track that I had recorded and fixed. It's going to feed through the MC-707 and record. So if I hit record, here we go. Okay, and there it goes. It's recording. I'm going to skip ahead. You don't really need to hear it. Okay, so I'm back. In case you're wondering why that, even though I'm hitting the same key, it's all over the map, that's because on the sounds here, I have just one sine wave. That's all that's here. And I have nothing special going on with it. Where everything is getting interesting is in the effects. I have a distortion effect on it. And then I have some reverb. And there must be something with the LFO. I have the LFO set at a rate where it's affecting the pitch. Okay, and yeah. So I have an LFO that's affecting the pitch, and I have it also affecting the depth on it. So that's why, and I have two LFOs going in there at set different rates. That's why we're going all over the place with the note and with the tone, even though it's so you can hear that's the LFO that's doing that. Okay, so we finished recording the, not sure what to call it, sure isn't a pad. Anyways, what I'm hoping to do is play lead over top of it, or not. And I suspect I have to bring down the volume. Let's just play this and see what we've got. Let's okay, so we've got this happening. Now I'm going to try and play lead over it. I have no idea what we're going to end up with, but I'm going to try that. So I'm going to sure, yeah. Just so you know, I have the keyboard set to a minor scale, and I could play it here, but I'm gonna. It's probably going to be a little overwhelming. We'll try it. I have another one where I had to redo things twice because it just didn't work out. Okay, so we'll wind this back to the beginning, and we'll, you know what we're going to do? I need to change a battery. So I'm going to change a battery on my one camera, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we'll just quick stop this baby. I just love technology. My camera over here decided to crap out on me. It didn't know what year it was anymore. Thought it was 2018. It no longer is talking to my monitor, so I'm assuming that it's aimed at me and that I'll be able to see something. But welcome to the world of technology. Anyways, we're hoping that it records. If it doesn't, then this will be the only scene you're going to see because my iPhone 17 seems to be just happy at the moment. Okay, so as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. We are going to record some lead, at least I hope so. So we'll back up to the beginning and see what we end up with. It could be a real mess. Here we go. Well, that was weird. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to shut off the record on here and hit mute so that it doesn't try and play the MC-707. We'll save this just in case it actually is good, and we'll play it and see what we got. I'll pause here so you don't have to endure this. We'll see. And then I'll come back. I'm back. It's interesting. It's all right. It's not going to make it onto any show anywhere, radio program, Hot 100 or nothing. And it's a little wonky towards the end, but you know what? I'll call it organic, shall we? And I'm going to live with this because it's an interesting experiment. So what we're going to do now, as I will take this off of record, I've muted the two MIDI tracks, and I've got the drum track playing and the, isn't a pad, whatever it is, the background beat, and then the lead. And so you can hear a little bit. So the next stage is to mix this, and I have this mixer over here. I'm going to put it off to this side for the moment, and you can see what we have. What I've done is I've created a template, and in that template I've put in some things that I think are kind of useful. For example, on the drum track, if we open up the input on it. For the drum track, I have a pull text. So if we listen just to the drum track, and if I turn it on, I have a preset called Drum Bus Earth and Air. So it's adding top end and bottom end, and I like that. I also have a compressor, and we can turn it on. So you can hear, if you listen closely to the compressor, listen to the cymbal. See, it cuts out. I don't like what it's doing with the cymbal. I think I'll leave the compressor off. Anyways, I have a whole series of other things happening here. If we go over to the next track, I have a EQ on, I guess we'll call this the bottom end track. So if we just solo that for a moment, turn it on, you can see the frequency range. You can see there isn't much at the bottom, so we can take that out. We'll increase the slope there a little bit. And there isn't much on the top end either, so we can maybe a little bit of the slope. Then I also have an EQ on the lead track, so if we put the lead in, and we bring it in, you can see there's not much down here, so we can take out any excess. And There isn't much at the very top either. We'll put that. This way they don't interfere with each other too much. There's obviously a lot going on here. And then I have some reverb, expander, and delay effects that I use. I sometimes find the expanders good on the drums. Let's go back to the drums for a moment and listen to them and turn on the expander. It's a TC Electronics 1210. It's really not doing a lot for it, so no use processing something if you don't need to. It's a little dry. I might try some reverb on it. So we'll turn on the reverb. Ooh, way too much. See what that sounds like with the rest of the mix. It's a little on the messy side. I'll fix it up, but I won't bother you with that. The other thing I do, and I apologize every time because I know it's wrong, it's evil, but I do my mastering in my project, even though you're supposed to do a separate mix and then master it. But being, 3 tracks, so I have over here on the main out, I've got a limiter. Just taking it down a dB, making sure it doesn't peak over the top. I don't want to distort it or anything. I just want to make sure it doesn't go over the top. Then I have the black box. It's set for master mud reduction, so it adds a little bit of saturation. Then I have Manley compressor, just to add a little compression. I have it set for the master mix bus. Then I have Ozone 11, which I don't always use. I'll turn it off for a moment. Then UAD Ampex 102, ATR 102, and it's set for a warm master. And then one last limiter just in case, down just a dB. So let's start this up. I'm going to take Ozone. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to set it to learn this. So we'll see what it's got to say. So here we go. We'll just lift our ears away in case it's really loud. Here we go. Like that. Let's see what it's doing. There's rebalance, EQs, bringing up the bottom end quite a bit, taking down the top end. Imager never makes it as wide as I like it. Stabilizer a little here. Dynamic EQ, taking some stuff out there. And the mat, oops, we'll get it back here. Obviously we're redlining, so we need to... So we got too much coming in. I think the black boxes. Let's see, output on this baby. Yeah, that's better. We're overloading the front end. I can take that maximizer up. Okay, now I will go in and mess around with this a bit more. I obviously have to find an ending for this. So I will do that as well. And I'll just get this taken care of. So I've got to deal with the ending. I probably just make it come to a beat. Somewhere in there, I'll just have it go thump. That'll be the ending. So thank you for your patience for watching this. I'm hoping that the second camera is actually capturing something, and we'll see what happens. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.